let's talk about this. You got a big fight coming up. Your last fight, you looked amazing.
Bruno's my friend. How dare you do him like that?
You gonna do something, brother?
You're like 5'5", 5'6", right?
Oh, I'm taller. 5'9", 5'9", 5'8".
Stop the cap.
I don't think it's 5'9". What does Short Dog have this man at?
It says 5'6" for what it's worth.
5'6", okay.
It's not 5'6".
He said they lied.
Against Mokaev, he didn't tap because he grabbed my shorts.
You know, I agree with you. That was illegal what he did.
And I was the referee in that fight because the referee didn't want to stop. I had to do 2 jobs.
Oh, it's 15-time world champion Demetrious Johnson. You're listening to the MIGHTYCAST.
What's going on, guys? This episode of the MIGHTYCAST is sponsored by PrizePicks. Now, PrizePicks is a daily fantasy sports game where you can play directly from your phone. It's very simple. All you gotta do is go to your app store, download PrizePicks. And when you do that, make sure you use my promo code MIGHTYCAST. They have a cool promotion going on right now. All you gotta do is play $5 in your lineup. Make your picks from NBA, NHL, mixed martial arts. No matter what happens in that lineup, you're gonna win $50. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you get the picks in at the right place, which is PrizePicks. Shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring the episode of MIGHTYCAST. Now, let's not keep our guest, the star boy, Manel Kape, waiting. Enjoy. I'm gonna give him so much shit. I'm like, you're lucky I ain't fighting because we be fighting right now. There you are.
Okay, like this, right?
There you go. Don't touch it.
Okay.
Don't touch it. All right. In 3, 2, 1. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the MIGHTYCAST. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I've been waiting for 30 minutes for this man to show up on time. That's why they call him the Star Boy. And I'm not talking about the weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome in Manel, the Star Boy Kape. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Very well. Thank you so much for the invitement. I really appreciate it. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, likewise. I was sitting here, I was like, this motherfucker got me waiting 30 minutes. I was like, he lucky I'm not in the UFC, and me and this motherfucker be fighting right now. 30 minutes late. Nah, I appreciate you taking time. I know you're in the middle of training camp. That's what, you know, ladies and gentlemen, he was on time. He was finished up showering, trying to get himself ready, and here he is now. Manel, first off, thank you. Dude, what got you into Rizin? Because that's when I first saw you. Like, you were fighting in Rizin. You had a significant style. You had your hair up nice and, you know, like Kid and Play. Don't know if you've ever seen House Party, but what got you into Rizin? Like, walk me through that. What got you into Rizin?
No, so Rizin is a promotion that I always love to fight. Basically in Japan. In Japan is the dream. I think all the fighters who would experience one time in a life to be there. And so they was looking for a champions around the world, like in flyweight division, that at least they had to have like 2 belts in different promotions. So I had one friend from France. He told me, hey, there is a great opportunity if you want to go to some tournament in Rizin. That's actually when I hear the Rizin, I didn't know that this the last Pride. They just switched the name, you know, and I was confused with the promotion because there is one Rise that is kickboxing and boxing, I think. So, and then they told me, no, this is the Prize, a huge event, one of the biggest in the world, and it's like it's the biggest in Japan, and if you get qualification and you win, it's gonna be good for your career, and you can be in UFC. And I say, yes, my dream is fighting UFC, but yes, in Japan is a great opportunity. So the thing started from there. I was training in Angola. In that time, I was not in Portugal. I was with my brother Kenny. He was a wrestler. And I was just training with him because I was there in Angola to help him, to help some of my families, and the other stuff was was a tough time in that time when I went to Japan, because I was just training with one guy, you know. I just have one partner trainer, and we was doing our thing by ourselves. I was making the schedules, all the stuff, you know, because I already come with some background of MMA, some from Portugal, and I was like, I think 10-1 or something like this when I came to Rizin 9-1, and I was training with one guy. Was very tough, very challenger. But that time when I was in Africa, this is the time that made me very hungry, you know, to do what I want in Rizin. So was pretty time, but was good times, but pretty tough at the same time.
I see. So where's home for you? You said Portugal, but like, is that where you've like are located at? Like, where's your?
It's my main house. My main house in Portugal, but now I'm living in Vegas. Size 4 years old. Actually, I was living in Japan as well. After I was living in Thailand after the Portugal, after the Angola, when I started fighting in the Rizin. So I knew that I have to have a big team. I have to be more professional. So when I get my first and second fight, I moved to Thailand. I was living in Thailand for 4 years. I was Japan, Thailand. So I still had my apartment there in Thailand. And Thailand was amazing. It was amazing time. And that time was my house, where it was considered a home. And then I moved to US. Now Vegas for me is home, and Portugal is more like vacation.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Damn. So you moved all over the place. So walk me through the infancy of you getting into mixed martial arts, like, because you said at the time you're 9-1 and you only had one. It was just you and your boy, you and Kenny. You said that was training.
Yes.
Walk me through the beginning of you getting into mixed martial arts, like, you know, when you're a kid. I'm assuming you grew up in Portugal, right? And
yes, I grew up in Portugal. My father is a former world champion boxer.
Oh, okay.
You know, so
okay.
I grew up. We now five brothers, but before we was 4. You know, we grew up in a mixed martial arts family. You know, and so I'm lucky because I started boxing with 4 years old, boxing and soccer, and I started jiu-jitsu with 13, 14 years old. I started my jiu-jitsu. And at the same time, with 13, I started MMA, you know, because my coach, Kleber, that is still my coach, he was my professor of MMA and jiu-jitsu. So in that time, I don't know if you experienced that times when we don't have we don't schedule the time. Like right now, we can train in the morning and then evening jiu-jitsu and etc. Before we train in jiu-jitsu, we take the gi and then we put the gloves to do the MMA. You know, it was all the time like this. So I'm blessed because I grew up in a sports family. My father always pushed me and my brothers with the right mentality to the sport, to be the best, to the competition always. He many times putting us to do sparrings or to running every Sundays to see who's gonna winning, you know, and who's gonna win is gonna get this, who's gonna lose, not get anything, you know. So we always, you know, size young age, we have that kind of mentality to winning, to competitive. And so I grew. If you ask me when really was the time that you started MMA, I don't know, because we start very early. You know, for me, this is natural already. You know,
that's why you got them fucking good ass hands. You look. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna give you some flowers right now. Your last fight, where you fought, you know, Bruno Silva, which he's a friend of the show.
Yeah.
Your hands you were on fire. You were in and out, throwing beautiful combinations, going to the body, going uppercut, and your movement was like, I was like, God damn, this motherfucker fast. And it makes sense because if you grew up in a household of all athletes and your dad was a world champion in boxing, you had that exposure at a very young age to throw your hands like that, because the way you were throwing your combination, I was like, you're throwing it like a boxer. You're not throwing it like, I don't want to say MMA guy, but if you were to box, you would probably, do very well as a boxer, because you're sitting there, you're like, pop, 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 pop. They're fast. You're not throwing your 1-2 to go 1-2 and throw a body. Now you're going 1-2 and you're moving your head. So
I know what I mean, because it's different, the boxing and the MMA boxing, and there is a lot of different, the striking from MMA and striking from other sports is totally different. Yeah, and I agree with you in this topic.
Yeah, because everybody's asking me like, man, they're like, DJ, why don't you box? I was like, dude, boxing and MMA boxing is too different. Like, I can't do it.
Way different.
It's
the way you breathe, the cardio. People think, okay, we have cardio, but the cardio for MMA is different cardio. Yep. Like the cardio for play soccer is different cardio. You probably have one of the great cardios in MMA, but if you go play soccer, you think, oh, this is easy. This is they just throw the ball. No, you're gonna have a big challenger to adapt to running back and forth. It depends on the position you are, and that's the same thing. People when they fight with shoes in the boxing, the cardio is different. I think boxing is more endurance. Mm-hmm. It's more endurance, so you're going to develop. That's why we boxings run a lot. We run a lot. Is a lot of I have this habit still of doing sometimes 10 rounds, 20 rounds of bag workout. This is different. That MMA don't do, like 10 rounds of bag workouts or anything like this, because it's a lot about the Anderson. It's different cardio, or jump the ropes, MMA, probably they jump the ropes like 3 minutes, I jump the ropes 20 minutes, to warm up. So there is really different type of cardiovascular.
Now, did you do any boxing as an amateur, or did you go straight to mixed?
Yes.
How many boxing matches? How many boxing fights you have as an amateur?
Well, it was a lot. It was like 20 somethings, and then I did the.
God damn.
And then it was young. It was most of the fights that like most of you don't win. It's like a draw, with kids boxing. And then I did 12 MMA amateur. I was 12-0 in amateur in Portugal. My first fight was with 14 years old, and then my first professional fight was with 17. Was with the sign of my mother. Mom, yes.
Please let me fight. Yeah. Please.
That's funny because my mother was against, and my father was against fight MMA and jiu-jitsu. And my father wanted that I keep soccer because I was a very good soccer player. I was like the best in the town, and my father say, hey, this don't give you money, this sports don't give you money. Stop with this, I'm not supporting this. And I was doing jiu-jitsu and MMA hiding, I was training and hiding, and this was the challenge of me. And when I start, my father was like this and that. And then my father never take proteins or anything like this. My father was just straight training, running like 2 hours, 1 hour, banana, vitamin C and all the stuff. And I was the first that started take proteins and amino acids and start to understood about the game and the athlete, because I always have this passion about not just training, but know what benefits our body. And then my mother was to my father, hey, your son is taking steroids, you see what he's drinking and all stuff. And whose game it is was friends of my father, because of the gym. And one of them was my boxing coach. One of them was he's the owner of nightclubs, nightclubs in Porto. And sometimes I go do security jobs, like, with him in some bars and everything. And then he was training with me, but my father didn't know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I'm gonna give you this protein, but he didn't say anything to your father, you know. So if no, he's gonna kick my ass in the gym, you know, because my father was like sparring with them. And then I started taking this like this. One time I forgot, and my mother, and they called me, hey, what you was taking, you know, this is bad for your body. And I was like explaining, Mommy, this is just only proteins and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, but then my mom started to help me, you know, start help me. Why? Because I say, Mom, I'm gonna fight, and they're gonna pay me. Yep. If they're gonna pay, they're not gonna pay me. This money is coming from somewhere. It's not gonna pay you. Yeah, they pay me. And I told my mother, but first I have to go to the fight. I have to go like clean, you know, a very good dressing and nice shoes. Because it was in that time when came like Air Force One, and I'd say, Mom, can you buy my Air Force One? Hey, like you have 4 brothers. You want an Air Force One? It is like $80, you know, $80 in that time. If I buy $80, what's your brother's gonna wear, you know? I can buy like one shoes, the $10 for each other. It's gonna be $40, and you'll still have 40, you know?
Yep.
And I say, Mom, I don't want these shoes from $10. You know, I don't care.
So that's where the nickname comes from, Starboy. You're sitting there fighting your mom, like, Mom, I need these Air Force Ones. I need them. You $80. I could get you, your brother, your other brother, your brother, all shoes, and I still got 40 in my pocket. Like, Mom, I'm Starboy.
In my pocket. But I told her, hey, I don't want to. I want to like the Air Force One. My mom, no, I'm gonna be okay. Don't worry. And then my best friend Paulo, that we train together, we start together. We know each other from 8 years old. He's one of my coach as well. He's my age. He can always try to give me these shoes, you know. And I went to do the fight like very, very clean, popped up, and I win. I beat this guy. At that time, I make like 450 euros. It's like $450, you know. And I came home and I say, my mom, I give 200 to my mom. Hey, that's your money, you know? And then I took the 200 and I go buy my Air Force. And my mom then, after this day, start supporting me, you know, make my food, make my diet. Hey, you have to eat this and that stuff. And I was, but honestly, this 450 was the most tasty money I make in my life in sport career, you know. Even right now, I make pretty good money. And I'm telling you, honestly, even $1 million is not gonna taste the 450. I don't make, you know. It was really tasty. I still have this taste, you know.
Yeah. I respect that, because I know that's like when you get your first check at a very, very young age, and it's like, this is the most money I've ever made, and I'm doing something I love. What's going on, guys? This episode of the MIGHTYCAST is sponsored by Ladder. Now, Ladder is a strength training app where you're going to get strength training programs every single day from an expert coach. It's very simple. All you got to do is click the link in the description or scan the QR code or go to your app store and download Ladder. When you get there, you're going to take a real quick quiz to see what are your goals while using this app. And once you take the quiz, you're going to get a free 7-day trial. They're going to ask for your credit card. They're not going to say, oh, well, you want to get the 7, free days of the trial, you got to give you a credit card. They're not going to do that. I hate when apps do that. So do it. It's free. Sign up. And the cool thing with the Ladder app is that you're going to get a structured, detailed plan to help you in the gym. It solves all the problems for you. Let's say you're going to the gym and you don't know what to do. You don't know what muscle you want to work out or what training regimen you want to use. Ladder can solve that with an expert coach that's going to help you get on a great strength training program to get you where you want to go and meet your goals. Click the link in the description below or scan the QR code, and let's start your fitness journey with a bang in 2025. Shout out to Ladder for sponsoring this episode of the MIGHTYCAST. Now, let us get back to our guest. Because I remember the first time I got my first paycheck, it was like, damn, this feels good, right? You get that taste in your mouth, like, I want more. And then when you start making more and more and more, a new taste comes, and then more things come available to you. So I understand that, where you get that. But it's cool that, your mom was like, you know what? No, you ain't getting them Air Force Ones. You're like, here's $200. And she goes, I'm on board. You will keep fighting. But I'm shocked that your dad wasn't okay with you fighting because he wants you to play football. But at the time, there was not a lot of knowledge, or what's what I'm looking for? There wasn't a lot of knowledge on smaller weight classes making money. Because when I started fighting in mixed martial arts, there was no 125 or 135. The lowest was 155, and they got rid of it and went to 170. Then they brought back 155. But at the time, there was no money to be made in mixed martial arts for little people, for smaller guys. So I can understand your mom and dad like, dude, play soccer. Like, you could be 5'5" and make millions of dollars as a soccer player than you can in mixed martial arts or even boxing.
Yeah, and that the thing it is, and that time I was making money, with pretty age. I was I have my security team, in Portugal. We have the bars, nightclubs and everything. I was making money, but it was not things they don't want for my life, the nightlife. And everything was hiding because my father didn't want me to get involved with this. And I was involved with these friends, with all the guys, always being around with the very mature people. But I want to make money with the fight because the soccer. I love soccer. I have great talent, I can tell, with soccer, but it was not give me that challenger. It was not give me the challenger. And when I started jiu-jitsu, I become more, more mature, less bullying person, in school, less, I don't know, it make me,
have more respect. Like, you carry yourself, like you have integrity. You're not just going around and start bullying people. You're like, hey man,
yes, it make me more respectful. It make me calm, very calm. I was a calm person, but sometimes, but it make me very calm as a person, and respectful. And it was challenger for me because I went to jiu-jitsu because I was thinking okay, if I fight someone in the street. I was with my best friend Paul. He was showing me, if I choke you, you're not gonna move, or if I do something, you're not gonna move. And I say I give you 2 punches and that's it, because I know how to punch. I think this jiu-jitsu is bullshit. And when I swear, I think this jiu-jitsu is bullshit. And I would say this is very gay style, And then he tell me oh, this is not gay. It's And then we was in his room, we was training, playing, He say, I'm gonna show you. Okay, I'm going with the hands. You go with your bullshit jiu-jitsu. And they come. It was a small room, It was a small room. It was fighting, and his mother would say, hey, stop fighting, We was fighting, and he gave me a takedown, He gave me a takedown, and I couldn't move, And I couldn't move. What happened, And then I couldn't move. And the art bar, and then I became fascinated with this, how someone can do something and you cannot be able to move, was really pretty weird,
Yeah.
And I started jiu-jitsu in his room because he was teaching me, And when I went to the gym, I was already a white belt, but a white belt that flying triangles and bars and everything, was really fascinating because every time when I training, I was learning something more, because the soccer was not give me, was pretty was beautiful. I was learning this technique, I was learning this, and I was always waiting for the next training to learn something new,
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and how old were you when you guys were in the room fighting and playing?
13, 14.
13, 14.
And,
okay.
12, 13, 14, and all this stuff. 12, 13, 14. And that age, so 13, 14.
Okay. Well, see, you got introduced at a very young age.
Right,
so and the thing that's I'll be honest, usually I see you as a person, you love to fight with your hands, right? You're always looking for the knockout. Like that's how like I said before beginning of the show is like I saw you in Rizin. Like that's the first time like you caught my eye. I was like, okay, who's this young stud? And you're moving and you had a swag about you and you're knocking people out. And then you had wrestling shoes on. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And then you won and then you was like Starboy. And then I saw your fights with Kai Asakura. He got the first one. That was a decision, I believe, right? The decision he got you.
I beat his ass.
Yes.
I beat his ass in the first fight.
Okay, now, all right. Okay, and then you got. We know the second one. You beat his ass because you ended up knocking him out and you became the champion. Walk me through that. I don't want to call it a trilogy, but I felt like because you never got the opportunity to fight Kyojo Horiguchi. I think Kyojo Horiguchi was in Bellator or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I think at that time Kai Asakura knocked out Kyojo Horiguchi. There's a whole thing. So I've been following you for a very, very long time.
Thank you. So what's good, I started to use the shoes because I was sleeping, sleeper a lot in this canvas. I couldn't have my time, fighting. I know I was fast, so I had the time, but I couldn't handle. I was like, whoa. My fight with Horiguchi actually was like what the fuck? I couldn't touch him, because he was throwing. And I knew I was faster than him. But I couldn't touch and get out, the way I do, And the floor was very, very slippery for my feet. And I was like, I have to find something, be able to find something for my game, or I'm not gonna long last here. And I'm just gonna talk, and people think that I'm just talking, and I can show or walk, because they was not doing anything. The problem was with me. It was not about them or that it was superior with me. And that time, actually, I was just even not real professional. I was not training with. I didn't have a coach. I didn't have all this stuff. I was only with my guy. But I knew I was like I can do something with these guys, But I couldn't just move. That's why I started fighting with shoes, and then I get caught as well when I went to UFC, my first and second fights, and it was the same. I'm like, what I'm gonna do, because right now in UFC they don't allow to use the shoes, and I was fighting with my first fight with Pantoja. Like I'm like 100 and 1 million times faster than him, and I was touching him. But when I get out, it was touching me. It was like, this guy is slow, this guy is sloppy. How even didn't have the great style to match with me, but he was touching me every time I get out. Like even I tried to I'm gonna go to the ground with this guy because I couldn't striking, and it was like mentally was like a little bit challenger, That's why I started fighting with the shoes.
It makes sense. I mean, a lot of people who haven't fought in a canvas on Rizin, Dream, UFC, One Championship, the canvas is very slick. Like it's like if that's why we train on wrestling mats 9 out of 10 times, or you train on some type of surface that gives you actually grip. But when you're like, I don't know how many fucking times I fought and I'm like, dude, I'm slipping all over the place. And you see athletes slipping all over the time because when they put that the sponsors on the canvas, it just literally, it's just fucking ice skate. It's just a sheet of ice. You're sliding all over the fucking place.
And if you are a striker, the power not come from the hands. The power comes from the feet and hips, you know. And if you have a good movement, you have to plant your feet, you know. You have to plant your feet and be able to move and get out at the same time, because this is the work I do a lot. Touch and go, touch and go, touch and go. And how you can do this if you are sliding, you know, and you get very tired. Like, I know people don't understand this. Like, sometimes they think it's excuse, but I know myself, you know. But anyway.
No. I understand it because I felt it before. I've literally felt it before. Like, I literally just in the ring in Thailand at Rotang's gym, sliding all over the fucking place. And then I went into One Championship, like their circle. I was like, okay, the grip actually feels good. Like,
the gym, you fell in the gym in the ring, right? You were
Yes.
sleeping. Yes,
Yes,
and
you're-
it's the same thing. That's why when I train in AKA, I train in AKA.
Yep,
That's
yep, yep.
why I never sparring in a cage. I did never sparring. And Mike Slick always put a lot. Then he put a lot of water because when I fight, I put a lot of water and you put in your feet. He was the one that teach me to see if this help. He was helping, but then when I had to put all the time like a bottle of water,
Yeah.
And then he say, yes, all. And I say, I can't do this in the fights. And Mike Slick's okay. Let's go to tatami and we're gonna sparring in tatami. That's why all my training in AKA in Thailand was in tatami and was not in the octagon, in the ring. Because in the rising, it makes sense. I'm training in the ring to adapt.
Yeah,
but no,
exactly.
I was not training in the ring because he was sleeping.
Gotcha.
I didn't know, and then we started training in tatami. That's when I found out that rising allowed me to fight with shoes. I started training and make sparring in the ring again.
Gotcha. Well, here's something interesting. You don't really see this at all. When you became the champion of Rizin, you're the champion. But once you became the champion, you left the organization to go to the UFC. What was that process like in negotiating? But I feel like Sakakibara, right? That's Sakakibara. He's pretty fucking dope because he allowed you to go to the UFC as a champion, and he also allowed Kai Asakura as a champion go to the UFC. What was your experience like doing that? Like, for example, could you imagine if John Jones was like, "Hey Dana, you know what? It's been a fun ride. I think I'm gonna leave and go to one championship." Like, they're not just gonna let a champion go to another organization. But Sakakibara was like, "You want to go to UFC?
No.
I'll let you go." Like, what was that like?
In fact, they don't want to let I go. They don't want to let I go. And
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't want to let I go. And I didn't sign the clause of the champion. So if I sign, I had to defend my belt. And my dream was like fighting UFC. I told very early. I told like I want to be a champion. I just gonna left to Rising if I become a champion. If how I can fight in UFC if I'm not champion this organization. If I'm not the best here, how I'm gonna prove that I'm the best in UFC. So I could have been in UFC more early when I was in Rising and I was winning. I could be in UFC more early, but it's not gonna be the same. And I don't wanna come to the UFC like someone else or just go to the UFC just to go. When I go to the UFC as a champion and I want to make noise. So that's why I keep fighting in Rising. And when I became a champion, I even still remember they say, hey, whatever number you want, whatever if you feel shy to what's the word?
They wanted to match you, whatever money you want, whatever the dollar was, they'll give it to you.
Whatever money you want, write in a paper. Whatever money you want, write in a paper. If you feel shy about any numbers, you think you
shy.
You deserve. You feel you want.
Yeah, you deserve. Yeah.
Put in a paper. We're gonna pay you. We're gonna pay you, and then actually they was paying me good. They was paying me good money. They was I was make good money. If I wanna retire or anything like that, as a champion, that was the moment because they honor the words. They always treat me very good. Actually, I have one of my biggest fans, and I was doing my business there, and my clothes and all this stuff was everything in Japan, and was when I meet my one of my coach, my mentor, that every day helped me in business and all the stuff. Is Alex. He's a Brazilian, but Japanese as well. And there was very challenging. Was very tentational. When they told me this, no, Natura was Shingo, the matchmaker. He told me this, hey, Sakakibara want to give you whatever you want. Just put it in a paper, or fight Okibuku. I have to fight Okibuku, beat Okibuku, and then they will let me go to UFC. if I fight Okiboki, defend my belt. I have to defend my belt. I said, no, I want to go to UFC, you know. They was very sad with me. I want to go to UFC. And that's it. And I think I make a great decision because, and then after 1 year comes the COVID, you know?
Yeah.
And there was no fight. 1 year, no fight, you know? If I was in Rizin, I would not fight for 1 year.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, it's just crazy. It's just crazy for you to be so young in your mixed martial arts career to, you knew if you fought for the belt and if you were to win it, you didn't sign that championship clause, right? Like, I think that's the biggest thing we could take away from that conversation, because every contract out there nowadays
I didn't have a manager. I was by myself.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But even if you did had a manager, right? They would be like, no, it's very rare. It's very rare you hear somebody's organization says, hey, we're gonna let you fight for the belt, and you know what? It's okay. You ain't gotta, you don't have to honor the championship clause. You become the champion. If I was the organization, I'm like, yo ass ain't fighting unless you sign this championship clause. I can't have my champion just packing his bags and leaving. So that's very impressive that you didn't sign that. You're like, I'm not signing this championship clause, and then you were able to get out of your contract. So I was always wondering, because like I said,
I was the most popular foreign fighter in Rizin, and even I think I was most popular than all these guys, Asakura and all this stuff, you know, because I had a big fans, you know, in Japan, you know. And if you hear my fight against Asakura, you just hear they scream my name. So I know my value there in organization. I know my value. So when I go to the balance, I know I could negotiate. You know, I was not begging, you know, for the belt. I was not begging, and they knew I was young, but I was not stupid. You know, so. You know, so I know the balance, you know, when I put in the balance, so this is organization, they do is money is not just because you're looking good or you are fighting, because you bring people, you know, so I know I bring people there, you know, so I could have the audacity to say, like, I'm not going to do this or sign this, you know, I want to be my freedom, you know. So, but I'm going to fight for the belt. So, in that time, this is what's happened, you know.
Wow. No, that's, like I said, that's impressive. So, you make it to the UFC, right? And I would say one of the things that I feel it might have been a struggle for you, you can tell us if it was or not. Like, I felt like you looked like you were destined for 135 because you had struggles with the weight class, making 125, right? Sometimes you make weight, sometimes you wouldn't, sometimes you wouldn't be able to fight. And like for me, I'm like, man, I feel like maybe he's a 135er because he's struggling with the weight class.
Why I was not able to fight? No, was me, because 5 opponents pull outs of the fight. I was not me. I missed weight one time when they was born. And when I was to be a co-main event second time, but I had five constellations, because them, and all them like very pretty close to the fight. And one of them was against Alex Perez, was in the day after the fight. I was already warm, you know. We're gonna start the main event, and I looked to him. I feel that his energy, and I told to the guys, hey, this guy is not ready to fight, you know? We make this guy is not ready to fight. I saw the body language of him. He was not there. And when we came to the arena, the fight's going, we was the third fight of the main event. The main event start, I was warm up with my brother, Albert Duraev, the Russian. And then we Chechnya guy. We was warm up. And then Sonshao will come, you know, to me, hey, your fight's not going to happen, you know. So people say, hey, I have too much consolation. Well, it's not because me. You are senior, you also. Because my fighters, they pull out. You know, they all pull out. Just to make this clarification.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm asking. That's why, because a lot of people, you know, I'm a fan on the outside. Like I said, I followed your career. but the best I could. When you're in Rizin, you come to UFC, and then when I see sometimes like you only miss weight once, but a lot of people will see that like, oh man, he can't make that weight class. Maybe he needs to go up to 135, right? And it's not just you. It's a lot of people. People in one championship, they fucking miss weight. People in the UFC, they miss weight too. And so sometimes, you know, people on the outside are like, you know, that's why I love doing this podcast. I can ask you, is like, do you have a hard time making 125? Or I can sit in the back of like, that motherfucker need to go to 135. I can ask you, is it easy to make it or is it hard to make it?
On beginning was hard because I love to cook. I cook every day. Cook is like is my passion, is my hobby, is things that make me calm. You know, even when I'm cutting weight, I'm cooking, and I was eating a lot. You know, so I didn't have the I was not like very professional. You know, with my diet. You know, with my diet, I was just making diet 2 weeks from the fight. You know. Was before, yes, I was struggling a lot to make weight, but right now, no, I don't have any problem to make 125. I know where to eat my calories, you know. My body is totally different than before, you know, and it's changed many things in aspect of nutrition. And this time, even my last fight, I didn't make sauna, I didn't make hot bath. I just losing weight with the diet and walking and water. Just that's it. I didn't make sauna, anything. Yes, walking, water, and diet.
And how much? What do you walk around at? Because my black ass wasn't making 125 unless I was in hot water. It was not happening at all.
Yeah. So before. I was walking around like 157.
God damn, you bigger than me too.
Yeah, 157. Yes, was pretty challenging. And right now I'm walking around 148, 147. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, still bigger than me when I was in my career. I was walking around 142, and then now
I wish.
And then now I walk around. But you're like 5'6", 5'5", 5'5", 5'6", right?
Oh, I'm taller. I'm big.
You're tall. I'm
tall. No,
I'm solid. What are you, 5'9"?
No, 5'9", 5'8". I did
5'8", 5'9". Michael, what does Short Dog have this man at? I think he's lying. I don't think this motherfucker 5'9".
It's fine. I don't know in centimeters. I don't know in foot. I'm centimeter.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
It says 5'6" for what it's worth.
5'6", okay.
It's not 5'6".
He said they lie.
They lie. Actually, they lie. It's like I think 5'8" or
5'8". Okay. 5'8". Hey man, hey. I tell my wife all the time I'm like 5'5", 5'4". She goes,
ESPN says 5'5".
5'5".
No, you see 5'6", 5'5". They don't know.
They don't know.
Yes, it's 5.
We'll get down to it. We're gonna figure out how tall you really are one day. Don't you worry. Okay, let's talk about this. You got a big fight coming up. Your last fight, you looked amazing. I think your last fight warranted, my opinion, me on the outside as a fan. I think you were warranted the next title shot. Either you or Kai France. Your last fight was amazing. You looked very good. You beat somebody who was on, I think a 4 or 5 fight win streak.
Yes.
And you made it look very goddamn easy.
By knockouts. All by
knockout. By knockout. I apologize. Let me give you by knockout. Okay.
Yes. And Bruno Silva's my good friend. You had to do him like that.
Yeah,
Bruno's my friend. How dare you do him like that?
Are you gonna do something, brother? I'm joking. Bruno Silva is good. He's friend of mine.
I'm definitely not gonna do anything. That's for sure.
Oh, I fucking love that.
He's my friend too. Bruno Silva is a good friend of mine as well. It's good friend.
Yeah, damn, that's the type of see now I know why you got all these. You don't got a lot of enemies, but at the press conference, you and Izzy were going at it.
What you want? All right, yeah. Shut the fuck mouth. Sit down. Yo, things is with Strickland. Sit the fuck down. Sit the fuck down. Sit the fuck down, yo.
Little crack ass.
Then you and Mokaev are going at it, and now you trying to fight my producer. Like, what you gonna do about it, huh? You ain't gonna do a fucking thing. Damn, Star Boy.
Actually, I'm sad about Izzy. You know, you lost.
I'm gonna get DJ to come out of retirement. That's what I'm gonna do. You
Don't
got
do that.
me, DJ.
I'm not gonna do a goddamn thing
You got
either.
me, DJ.
Nope.
Hey, you have to pay $2 million for my fight. You have to pay $2 million at least. For Mighty Mouse fight, you have to pay $2 million. Only about money right now.
I like that. He's a businessman.
Yes.
$2 million. I like that. I like that.
It's a business. No, I'm sad about Izzy. His last fight, I'm really sad. We have the beef, but he's a legend. You know, you cannot. He was beating this guy. He was winning the fight. Yeah, he was beating the fight, and I was sad. You know, I said because you see a legend like him falling down that way is pretty sad. You know, I never wish anything for any man. Like you know that the step in the cage and have the results he had is pretty sad. It's pretty sad.
No, it's part of it's part of the sport of mixed martial arts, and I think me and you, I'm a little bit older than you, but I think we all grew up kind of watching Izzy, you know, whoop everybody on the tear. Somebody we can look up to. Well, I looked up to him even though he was I'm older than him, but it was somebody we got excited to watch, and I agree with you, man. I was gutted. I was absolutely gutted. Absolutely gutted. Okay, now let's get back to, so walk me, like, were you upset that you didn't get the title shot because you felt you weren't? You were like, okay, that's fine.
Yes. Actually, you know, in a perspective of the fight business and to my career, I felt that this is the right fight, you know, and I spoke with Dana and Ali is my manager. They say, okay, well, I'm not gonna give you the title shot, but we're gonna give you the number one contender fight. It's gonna be a title contender. And I say, okay, but it have to be main events. So they give me the main event. And when they give him the brand of Royval, he didn't accept the fight. And then the UFC forced him to fight. If he didn't fight, they won't give you a fight. You know, they're not gonna give you a fight like, I don't know, for a year. You have to accept. And he was forcing to accept. And then he gets this motivation to fight me. He find out some motivation, I don't know where, but he find out the motivation, he sees something that can do or anything like that. So this already, for me, myself, I knew he's dodging, you know, he's dodging. You know, I build my highlights against Bruno Silva, and I can build one more highlights with this guy after Bruno Silva. So it's going to be a very beautiful combination of highlights, you know, come with 2 win streaks with beautiful performance, you know. And I can tell, guarantee, I'm not underestimate any fighter that I fight before, you know. And it makes sense to this fight, the Kaikara France and Pantoja. It's make a lot of sense for me and the UFC for the promotion. If I don't know, but Kaikara France have a good hands as well. You know, he have a good hands, and we already see he can defend very well the takedowns in the back. He fight my friend Askarov, the Russian guy. He defended he defended very well the back, and Askarov beat Pantoja. You know, Askarov beat Pantoja, and so if you look to the stylish of the fight, something that is take the conflict or what I have to him, because I never put my feelings into what is right, what is wrong. You know. I know I have a beef with Kaikara France, but we have to give him a credit. You know,
absolutely,
he's a brilliant fighter, and I'm not gonna say like shit, like he's not a fighter or whatever. He beat a very good guy, like, you know, he beat Cody Nalov, he beat Askarov, you know, he defended the back, and this is something that Pantoja do good. He take it back, you know, and he defended the back against somebody more dangerous than Pantoja was Askar. And he beat Bontorin. Bontorin is a great grappler, you know. Bontorin is one of the best grapplers, you know. He was that in 125, you know. He just smoked Mokaev in a grappler's match, you know.
Yep. Over an 80 XC.
Yes, and Bontori was afraid to fight me. You know, he jumped in waiting of the fight. And if you look to that fight against Kakara, France, and Pantoja, maybe Kakara, France have the chance because these have a pretty good stand. I think his stand is better than Pantoja. So Kakara, France win, and I win could be a good fight and good promotion, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
I love it. No, I love it. I think, if I have to be honest, I think right now the flyweight division is probably the most exciting it's ever been in the history, meaning that there's so much more competitive fights. They have they have Kai France, you have Alex Pantoja, you have Kaya Asakura, you have Henry Cejudo if he ever decides to go back down to 125, but I don't think he is. And you have some new fresh blood coming up where when I was fighting, it was basically me. You had Henry, you had Dotson.
I think in your time was more pretty challenger. But
you think so?
You was just more in another level, in another dimension of the levels. Because in your was Ali Bakhtarov in that time. Was like is a pretty good fighter. He was in that time, you know. He was Kyoji Horiguchi was winning a 7-win streak, you know. With Don Johnson was like pretty good hands, you know. And then I just feel that till top 10, top 8 was more competitive, you know, was more competitive. Today there is more youngers. It's just the youngers, you know, and it's more youngers, and there is like this crazy abilities and other stuff. But I don't feel that there was like
more competitive
and the stylistic, you know, competitive, you know, adult. Because one of them, if you go fight someone like in that level, like Ali. Or Josh and Loss, they're gonna get smoked. 100%, you know. Even right now, they're gonna get smoked, you know. That's what I say. Okay, today they see because the fights day is young to young, and they have these excitements and blah blah blah, but they're not that level right now, you know. They're not that level. It's good. They have a great name. They're building good names because social media. That's why people start to see the flyweights, because right now people start to build this social media and all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. That's why they say, oh, right now 125 is exciting. Yes, it's exciting. You have a pretty good range, but before was more exciting. I think was more is difficult to be a champion.
Damn.
You know?
I appreciate that. I just feel now that, you know, back in the day, yes, it was just me, and you had Joseph, you had some big. I didn't forget about Ali Bogatinov. You had a lot of good guys, but you could be right with the social media. It makes it more exciting, but I just feel like they're all good now. Like I felt like back in the day, like we had specialists, right? Like John Dotson, great with the hands. Ali Bogatinov, he was pretty well-rounded, Sambo champion. You had, what's the gentleman's name? You had Kyoji Horiguchi, karate champion. He would blitz. But now, like, if I look at you, if I look now, I was like, Brandon, he's very wiry, very big for the division. You don't know where he's going to take the fight. You know, you have Alex Pantoja, well-rounded. Even you, like I said, you have good boxing. Now hearing you do jiu-jitsu, we don't usually see you wrestle or do any jiu-jitsu like
I have 5 submissions. I have 5 submissions in
the UFC.
No. In my career, in MMA.
Oh,
career.
okay. Yeah,
I have 12 knockouts. I have 12 knockouts. You know.
Yeah, so you knock motherfuckers out. That's where everybody knows you for.
But whatever the fights go, I'm about to go. You know.
Exactly.
I was the only. I'm not a fighter. I was the only guy that take down Pantoja and go to grapple with him. You know. I'm a black belt. I know what I'm doing when I'm going to the ground. You know. I was about to have 2 submissions. If you look to the fight, David Overock, I broke his arm.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know if you saw the fight. I broke his arm with Kimura. I broke with his arm with Kimura. He come back. I give some knockdowns and blah, blah, blah. Against Mokaev, he didn't tap because he grabbed my shots.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yep. That's a
I go
very
to, like-
controversial thing right there.
No,
Like,
no. There is no contribution. We go to the ground. I go to
Yep.
the knee bar. I know
Yep.
all wrestlers. You wanna catch them is go to the leg. You know?
Yep.
Is go to the legs. When I catch his leg, when I go to the knee bar, you can see his body, his reaction, body language. He was dying there because he know I'm gonna catch him. And we was preparing for that leg that he had operation. I know it was the left leg. He gets on the operation.
Yep.
He grabbed my leg. If he knew that he's not gonna get submission, you don't need to go to grab my shorts. He grabbed my shorts, you know, because he felt that the position was tight. The position was tight.
Yes.
You know, that it was no way he's gonna. Because this is something. Listen, this is something that I do side ski. This position. I don't miss this position. Now, when I'm going to the ground to the half guard and I'm going to knee bar, everybody tap. Doesn't matter his weight class or whatever. When I go to that position, and I'm fresh, like I was in that first round. Everyone tap. So there was no kid. He can be he have a crazy heart. He's the great fighter, and Mokaev he showed that he have a competitive. He didn't tap in that leg lock, but there was no way he couldn't escape for that position. So doesn't matter how the fights go. You know, if you go to the ground, I have my. I go to but I love to strike. You know, I love to strike. But people don't forget, my background, my real background is jiu-jitsu. You know.
No, and I just want to clarify. When I meant controversy, there was it was a foul, meaning that a lot of people outside were like, dude, what the fuck? He's grabbing it. He's grabbing his shorts. He's committing a foul. And people were saying, oh, that's controversy. He's like, well, was he cheating or was not? But he was cheating when he grabbed your shorts. You're not supposed to grab an opponent's shorts. Does that make sense? I want to make sure. I want you to understand, like, I agree with you. That was illegal what he did.
And I was the referee in that fight because the referee didn't want to stop the fight. I had to do 2 jobs because then I lost my position and I looked to the ref and I said to him, hey, I lost the position. And he was keeping, he's just saying, hey, don't grab the shot. He was seeing he's grabbing the shot. He was just saying, hey, don't grab the shirt, don't grab the shirt, don't grab the shirt. Like, motherfucker, don't grab the shirt. What? Take the point.
Take the point, give me the position back. No.
You know
that's why I say it.
And I stopped the fight. And it was me that stopped the fight. I say, I lost my position. I'm not gonna fight. You know what I mean?
And that's why there's controversy on it, meaning that, like, you were the ref, and in a foul, you stop the fight, you get your position back. Some people would argue you don't get your position back, right? But in the rules, you get your position back. And that's why people would argue that, oh, that's controversial. It's like,
it was not a position back. It was an immediate take the point because he grabbed like my shot. He stopped the attempt of submission. It was not something like he grabbed the cage or anything like that.
Exactly.
He stopped one attempt of submission. You know, that is more like have to be more severe. You have to immediately take the point. You know. But.
Because that could have finished the fight right there. The fight could have been done with. It was like, boom, done.
Yes,
boom.
The fight can finish that in that time because I was working a lot in that leg because he had operation in that leg. He operated in that leg. I knew second knee bar. He's not gonna be the lion tough. You know, he's gonna tap because he's still afraid the injury. You know, the operation. You know. This is normal. He's human being, you know. Your operation, daddy, you gonna think about your career, you know. Another operation, you know what I mean. So I was very malicious in that fight. If you go to the ground, I know that what's kind of like, you know, I could go.
Yeah. No, like I said, I feel like the flyweight division is maybe more popular than it was back in the day.
Yes,
more popular. But then when you said no, back in my day it was way more skillful. You had way more competitive guys that were good, and I never really looked at it that way because a lot of times where things aren't as popular, it kind of shines away from like them actually being good.
Is the same thing. I'm gonna give it the comparison. John Jones division, heavyweight division, and that time. For me, was best division, was Rasha Neckens, was Mauricio Shogun Rua, was Lyoto Machida, was Rampage Jackson, you know, was the good fighter that's died. Oh, was he
Stephen
died.
Bonner.
No, not Stephen Bonner.
Okay.
The black dude that died.
Oh, Anthony Johnson.
Anthony Johnson. You know,
Yep.
like Cormier that then show up more later. So
Yep. Glover Teixeira too. Yep.
yeah. It was a pre-competition, but Johnson was just in that different dimension, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look to the fighter, was like the prime of heavyweights. Today, right now, you just see heavyweights like popular, you know. They just are popular, you know.
Yep.
But it was not the same caliber of the fighter was in that time, you know. A lot of champions there, you know. That's the same comparison I'm seeing in flyweight division with the heavyweight. If you know what I mean, what I'm saying.
Yeah. You're making that comparison. Like, no, back in the day, light heavyweight, it was. Whew, it was on fire. You look at light heavyweight now, it's not the same. You look at the heavyweight division, it's like, well, it's not really nobody there. That's popular.
It's popular. It's popular.
Yeah, it's popular, but it's not what it was back in the day.
Yes, the guys are more popular. You know, the guys are more right now. It's good.
Hey, I appreciate it. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna run to the bank with that. It's like, hey, Starboy said my time in the flyweight was probably not the most popular, but probably the most competitive, more competitive.
Yes, more competitive, definitely.
I respect that.
That's what I see. That's what I see. You know?
Okay. Well, before we let you go, let me see if my man Michael's got anything for you. Michael, you got anything for the Starboy before we let him go?
I don't know if I want to say anything now because I'm scared to even. I'm scared to even speak.
He's like, what you gonna do, huh?
No. But one thing I wanted to ask about, I got to ask the tough questions as the producer. I obviously this is between you and Muhammad Mokaev, but what was your reaction when the UFC decided to cut him after that situation? Do you think that it made sense? What was your thoughts on that situation and kind of the consequences of it?
Hey, first of all, they told me like about his cutting. You know, I don't have nothing against him, by the way. I just felt that he's a dirty person. You know, he's a dirty person. He's a fake person, and he's been treated like he is. You know, actually, I don't wish nothing to him. I was not like if I'm happy if someone lose the job. No, I'm not happy if someone lose the job. That's not actually. First of all, this is not my decision. First of all, and like I say, whatever beef I have with someone is between me and you. We are men. You know. I don't wish you. I never wish anyone. I never be just to anyone. I don't wish you bad. You know what I mean? But we're gonna handle as a man. You know, we're gonna fight. We're gonna, you know, if we're gonna take to the street, we're gonna take to the street because that's my level. You know, but he lost his job. I think he just deserved what he was looking for. It's the karma, and the karma hits hard. You know. If you look to the what is right, what is wrong, there is right. They didn't take the point to end my fight. Mm-hmm. You know, there is right. They give him the victory, but he was just avoid the fight against me. I was looking for the fight. He was not looking for the fight. He was avoiding. You know, all the time he was looking. So if you're gonna play fair, was it fair or no? If he's get fired or no, or something like that, if I'm happy. No, like you happy with the victory, okay? You're happy with the victory. You won the battle, but you lost the war. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, that fight between you guys was very, I remember watching it, and you guys are both so damn fast, and you were trying to bring the fight to him, and he was very good about negating and shutting you down, trying to like stifle, if that makes sense.
It's
right?
Not, I'm not gonna say stifle. Because when you was just throwing the kicks to avoid me.
Yeah.
Because there is difference when you throw the kick to hurt, to make a fight, and there is a kick to avoid the tips. Yeah. And then this is what he was doing. This is what he was doing. He was avoiding the fight. I was there. I was the one. And let's go. Let's smoke. Even in the ground, I won all the exchanges, the exchanges in the ground, you know. So every time I throw one throw, it was not meant to stand there. It was going to the ground already, and I was defending all these takedown because I knew, honestly, I knew he's not gonna take me down. He's not gonna take me down. If he take me down, like I say in other interviews, I'm gonna grab his leg and I'm gonna submit him. Didn't happen because he normally a man is not a master of his feint. He's not a master of his feint because only Allah, only God knows, what's happened tomorrow. But in that night, he was the master of his feint. He feinted the submission attempt, because if he didn't grab the short, I'm gonna submit him because I'm gonna tell you in the first time in your life, a man was a master of his feint. It was him,
Woo. All right. Well, Manel, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're in the middle of training camp. This is your opportunity to let people know how they can follow you, how they can support you, what they can look out for. I hope you do some cooking, on YouTube. I would love to see some cooking content.
I cook very good. I cook very good, brother.
I know you told me. I want to see some cooking dish.
I conquer hearts in the belly, first.
Is that what you do with your dates when you go on a date with a girl? Like, girl, let me cook for you.
I'm married.
Oh, you're married?
I'm out of the game, but I'm a master on this game. I'm a master on this game. I'm out of the game, but I'm a master on this game.
I love that. Man, I'm so good at that game. I don't play it anymore, though. I used to be the best at that game, but I'm good.
I can give you, I can scholarship people, I can give a course,
There you go. There you go. Okay. So you're married. How does your wife feel about you fighting?
Very good. Very good. Very good.
She's very good.
Very good. Very good. Everything good.
Okay. Everything all right. Good. Well, this your opportunity. How can people follow you and support you, dog?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing.
No, how can they support you? Like social media, anything you can tell the people how they can support you?
Yeah, they just go to Instagram. I just posted the picture with my daughter in Instagram. For me, I use the social media more to show my style, my hobby is not too much about. I'm not too much good on the social media. It's much to show. People want to show me. They know UFC. They know UFC. Go to the page UFC, buy pay-per-view, watch ESPN, and you guys gonna see me.
Okay, well, boom. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our boy, our guest, Manel, the Star Boy. Make sure you check out his fight.
People get too much intro to the social media. I don't like to get too much. I love social media to post my nice stuff. I have a nice stuff I like to post. I'm not too into this.
Yeah, well, I think it's very interesting you say that, because for me, like, I don't really post much about my kids now, and it's mostly just about like what I'm doing when I'm traveling and what I got coming up. But like for me, it's like it's just like advertising what I got going on, the MIGHTYCAST, the YouTube channel.
Listen, it's good for the people they want to make money. For the people they're using the right way, the social media to make a company, to make money. It's very good. It's very good. I'm very traditional person. I'm very traditional person. I'm very traditional man. Sometimes don't look like, but I'm very traditional person. My education is very traditional, and I like to use. It's not that I don't like it. I don't use the social media to make money. You know what I mean? I'm an old business. I like it. If I make money, is with the old business, all the stuff. Social media for me is just more about fun, post nice stuff, happy things, and my day, my hobby is not something that I'm looking for to engage in. You make sense? You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking to engage in. You know what I mean? For followers.
I respect that. I respect that. You're not looking to engage on social media. It's like, hey, I'm posting what I got going on. If you like it, you like it. I don't care what you think. So that's
yes.
Okay.
This is what I do. This because people are too much worry and careful about fame, to be famous. Since young age, I was very adept to the hard work, to the MMA, to the fighting, because I love, it's not because I want to be famous on this, because I know all these things work together, the good eyes where you win, everything will come together, because the wins take care of everything, you're going to be more famous, you're going to make more money and those stuff. So I'm not much scared about, the numbers. People get like, oh, I have this, I have 500 followers, I have 1 million, I have 2 million. So it's not my business, it's not my engagement, my life. I'm out of this, I'm out of these things.
Okay, well, shit. Well, boys, it's a number 1 contendership fight. If he wins it, he's going to fight for the belt. And if he doesn't, well, I think this man is going to win. That's why I have one in the fight before the fight starts. So, boys, make sure you guys subscribe. Go follow the man on social media. Watch his fight. I am your host, Demetrious Johnson. That is my co-host, Michael Bonsover, and our guest, Starboy. We will see you guys at the next episode of the MIGHTYCAST.
Thanks so much.
Don't you go anywhere, boy. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the MIGHTYCAST. And this is the part of the episode where we call it the Mighty Recap. And this is where we recap everything we just went through with our guest. And our guest was Manel Kape. Unfortunately, Manel was supposed to fight Brandon Royval. But Brandon Royval, he has pulled himself from the fight. I read up a little bit about it, saying that he was dealing with a lot of injuries. I think he said something about he's been knocked out before in training, and he didn't want to go into this fight with any injuries. He wants to fight healthy, and which he should, right? We're at a point now in mixed martial arts where every single fight that we have could be our last, meaning that if he goes out there and he doesn't perform very well, he takes an L, it's going to set him back even further away from getting that title shot. So for him to pull himself out of the fight due to injuries, I hope we can see him get the opportunity to get back in there and fight for a number 1 contendership spot, because I felt like this was the number 1 contendership spot, even though you have Brandon Moreno, who's about to fight. Kai France is, next in line, I believe, to fight Alex Pantoja. And then now you have Manel Kape, who's supposed to take up Brandon Royval, but he's stepping up to fight another gentleman, up-and-comer guy named Almabayev. He's a gentleman who's on a 17-fight win streak. Coming out of Kazakhstan, so it should be an amazing fight. But all in all, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how Manel Kape does with Asu Almabayev. Like, that's one thing that's hard about mixed martial arts is, you plan for a fight against an athlete, and next thing you know, something happens, they back out, they get injured, and then you get a brand new athlete that you have to prepare for, and it can be hard, but I feel like Manel Kape's in his space now where he's starting to understand where he's good at. He's always going to know where he's good at, but his last fight, that man entered that flow state. He was on fire. His stand-up was crisp. And to hear about like how, when he was in Rizin, he would wear the wrestling shoes because he needs the grip to hit and get out. And you see a lot of people slip all the time on the UFC canvas because it's just absolutely like ice sheets on there. But I'm kind of curious to see how he's going to approach this fight against Asu Almabayev.
No, and you know what? I'm at first when Manel challenged me, I was a little intimidated. I'll admit I was scared a little bit, but then I remembered, this right here.
He's like, this is the only medal I won in my whole entire life. Take this to dear bed with me.
He spent some time in Phuket, but so did I. I think he didn't realize that he was talking to a freaking boxing champion, 1-0. I'm like Francis Ngannou, my first career boxing fight, just going against the best in the world and winning.
Yeah,
right here. So I'm ready. If he wants to go back to Phuket, let's go to PP Island. Let's go to the reggae bar. We'll do it. I'm going to defend my friend's honor, Bruno Silva. Let's do
it. He already asked you. He said, what you going to do about it? Woo-wee, that boy fucking hood. When he said that, and it's always funny because it's like, man, like you could tell he's serious about what he means. Like, he's very respectful, but it's almost like Merab. Like Merab is very respectful, but once you disrespect him, he's like, now I'm going to fucking kill you because you disrespected me. And now I'm going to beat the shit out. And I can feel that energy from him. But at the same time, he's very nice, very kind. And everything, even when we asked about, Muhammad Mokaev, but he was like, I don't want anybody to lose their job, but I think the man was searching for karma and he found karma. And there was just recent things on Mokaev that they still don't want to sign him. So what does, Mokaev do now, right? I mean, that's another story for a different day and a different episode of the MIGHTYCAST. I'm sure we get Muhammad Mokaev on here, but I think, Manel Kape comes off like he's like a punk. I don't know how the public perceives him, but he's actually genuinely nice. And when I talked to him, I felt like he was very respectful.
No, and I messaged, obviously it goes without saying we're kidding about all of this. I messaged Bruno actually on WhatsApp, and Bruno even responded, and he's like, yeah, I'm friends with Manel Kape. I actually like him. So that shows right there that's someone who's an opponent of his, and he's telling me like, oh yeah, I'm friends with him. So he is someone who has a bad rep, and it seems like UFC siding with him too, right? I mean, they cut Muhammad Mokaev. Mokaev gets a win, and they're still like, nope, we're not interested. So that shows that they're siding with Kape in whatever went down. It was between them. We'll never know exactly what happened, but for me, it is a little bit tough because you guys talked about it, right? What was the more kind of stacked deep division? Is it right now, or was it when you were champion? And I will say you're being humble, but if you pull up let's just say 2017 rankings, right? So this is when kind of right before you went against Henry Cejudo.
Yep.
You're obviously number one.
Yep.
Then Joseph Benavidez, Henry Cejudo, Horiguchi, Ray Borg, Formiga, Sergio Pettis, Brandon Moreno. I mean, this is a young Brandon Moreno, but Wilson Heiss, and then Dustin Ortiz. And consider Pantoja's not there, but he's around there. That to me is deeper.
Go back to like 2015. Do 15. Or I feel like 15 would be the same thing because you need to say John Dotson at all.
Oh, yeah. No, I said 2017. 2015, if we pull that up, is you number one, Benavidez, Dodson third, Horiguchi, Cejudo, Formiga, Ian McCall, Bagatinov, Makovsky, and John Moraga.
I feel like that right there. That was, and Ali Bagatinov, Kyoji Horiguchi, Henry Cejudo.
Yeah, and consider right now it's Pantoja who has just, I'll be honest, until we talked to Manel Kape, I didn't know that he fought Pantoja. I mean, Pantoja has fucking beat everyone. Like, what the fuck?
I think that happens.
Did not know they fought.
That happens when you have somebody come into the division as a dark horse where, everybody's path to the title is different. And I feel like Alex Pantoja's path to the title, he was on the Ultimate Fighter, and then he didn't win that. And then he had some ups and downs in his UFC career. But those guys have already fought each other, right? And they fight. I feel like Pantoja at one point he was fighting so active, and it wasn't on the main card. I felt like it was on like the UFC early prelims potentially. And
So if you do look at the rankings, if you want to compare them, is Pantoja obviously champ, Royval, Brandon Moreno, Amir Albazi, Kai Kara-France, Tatsuro Taira, Manel Kape is sixth, Alex Perez, Almabayev, Steve Erceg, and Tim Elliott. I mean, you're being humble, but there's no comparison really. There's some great names at the top. I'm not gonna lie, obviously, but we're talking about the depth of a division.
Yeah,
I think you had it more deep, but it was just. I mean, that's part of why people call you the GOAT. There was a little bit of a talent gap between you and everyone else, but especially that's why I don't love cutting Mokaev because it feels like you could use him in there.
Yeah,
you could use him in the mix.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's the thing too. Alex Pantoja's beat everybody already. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he hasn't fought Mokaev exactly.
Pantoja and Mokaev have fought already. I mean, excuse me. Manel Kape and Alex Pantoja have fought already. That was a 3-round decision. But, people grow. Like I was talking to my son and we're watching the Netflix show Wide Receiver and Quarterback. And sometimes an athlete doesn't really shine into, there's like 3 parts of their career. There's the beginning of the career, the middle, and the end. And sometimes an athlete will shine at the middle, or they'll shine at the beginning, or they'll shine at the end. And in between that is a big blur, right? People only remember the part where they start to shine. And maybe the very first time that Alex Pantoja and Manel Kape fought each other, it wasn't a time in their career where they're shining. But now you're starting to get these guys where Alex Pantoja, I think this is part of his career where he's shining. And you look at Manel Kape, he's starting to shine now. And I think they're going to come to this point in a conversion where they meet. It's going to be a banger.
Yeah, and I will say Manel Kape's performance against, like, all jokes aside, was incredible.
It was fucking good. Like
it was one of the best striking displays I've seen in a very long time.
Yes, I was like, God damn, he was and just his speed, and it makes sense because when he fought in Rizin, he wore shoes, right? And I've trained in shoes before, and I'm like, oh my God, it's not even close. Like the amount of grip that you can get from wearing wrestling shoes when you hit pads is like totally fucking different. And when I was in Thailand and I was sparring Rotting, I'm like, when you guys watch that video, you can see I look down at the ground and I'm like, I don't have footing whatsoever on this canvas. And there's also a hole there too, that for somebody who's very in tune with their body, I'm not going to throw a strike if my footing is compromised, because I know I'm going to slip and I'm going to be off balance and I'm going to have to overextend or overreach in the void. And ladies and gentlemen, we know what happens when you overextend in the void. You have to be one with the void to not make that mistake. But back to get on track is that when it comes to the footing, you can see that he loves to have good grip on his feet so he can throw those fast hands. And like I said, he's in that style of hit and not hit real quick and get out quick. If he's hitting in real quick and trying to get out quick and his footing's not there, that's where he usually gets hit. Or if somebody's able to land a takedown on him, that's when they're going to try to succeed in that takedown. So we'll see what happens. But boys, if you guys enjoyed this episode of the Mighty Cast or the Mighty Recap, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell to know we go live, and let us know in the comments below, what era of flyweights do you think was more competitive? Was it my era from 2013 all the way to 2018, or 2019 to 2025? Let me know what you guys think in the comment below. As always, I am your host, Demetrious Johnson. That is my co-host, right-hand man, Michael Onsover, and we will see you guys at the next episode of the Mighty Cast.